Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and we have got to get a video out about this special Dragon tournament where we can only use champions from the Knight Revenant faction. Now, I've got an interesting way that I'm going to be doing this, so I will show you my strategy for this tournament, and then we'll also dive into some other champions to think about. We'll talk about the faction in general, and maybe the stages that you should think about running, and all of that, plus if the tournament is worth doing or not. So let's get into it. Alrighty, now first of all, when we dive into this Dragon tournament, there's a couple different things to consider. First of all, the overall rewards, the guaranteed stuff over on the top right. We're going to get some gems and XP banners, actually kind of nice. A lot of people nowadays in the community are starting to run out of the XP banners they had stored up. So it's always good to save those for CVC, champ training, fusions, and stuff like that, and have a few on the back burner. Now, you do get some immortal soul coins, the 250. That's actually kind of nice. I would at least try to get to 1750 and scoop those up. You want to be acquiring constant blessings summons for the overall long-term health of your account. And the 5-star chicken is kind of meh. Honestly, I care more about the 250 immortal soul coins. But for newer players, 5-star chicken is going to be amazing. But for newer players, it's going to be really hard to do a Knight Revenant only Dragon run unless you're doing like a super low stage. Then for the left side, the PvP tournament rewards, you are going to get a Void Shard and a decent Relentless set if you're able to win. But this tournament's probably going to be decently hard to win, and that is because there is also going to be a 2x drop fever, or whatever they call it, for speed gear. Now, this makes it a really, really good time to run the Dragon because basically every account out there can never have enough speed gear. It is probably the best set in the game when you take everything into consideration, what it's going to give you for being able to fill in. It can basically go on any champion. It always helps you kind of round out a build, throw 2 pieces of speed on, and having a ton of it to mix and match when you're building champions is super helpful. So never really a bad time to run the Dragon while you've got 2x speed available. So I anticipate it being very difficult to win the group that you are in. You're gonna have a lot of people that are willing to when you get up to that like top 5% of players and spenders, they're gonna be willing to YOLO a bunch of energy towards the Dragon whenever there's a boost for the speed set. Now, the strategy that I'm going to be doing for running this tournament, I at least want to get that 1750, like I said. The strategy I'm going to be doing is rolling with the solo Tomb Lord on level 25. I can pop up these stats over here on the right side. And you know what's funny is I actually tested this in stage 20 and it took longer. Stage 20, you've got annoying things to deal with like the Crimson Helm, and I was getting freezed on wave 1. I'd have to build a little bit different, and you can get some bad RNG on stage 20. I ended up actually doing better on stage 25. It also helps that I'm going against Force Affinity and Tomb Lord is Spirit, so they are constantly hitting weak. I'm constantly hitting strong, and I'm able to solo the Dragon. Here, I think it's on average about 220, 230 or so. So I'm able to run with food and farm up the Dragon to get the double speed set rolling. So let's fast forward a little bit as we're kind of approaching to when the Dragon fight is going to begin, and we're approaching the end of the run, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. But you can see the stats over there on the right. I will quickly rehash the build. I've covered this in a dedicated video on my channel talking about the solo food leveling Dragon 25 Tomb Lord strat. But really quickly, I'll walk you through the stats and the masteries here after we finish the run. You can see we're at 2 minutes right now. We've got a bunch of the debuffs down. We've got the defense break, the attack down, and all of those poisons. Tomb Lord really is just kind of tailor-made. The affinities and the debuffs that he places and everything involved with being able to slam down the Dragon on stage 25. It works out perfectly, and that is what I'm going to be doing for my runs. Now, if you don't have good enough gear or a Tomb Lord, I will walk you through some of the other champions to watch out for in Knight Revenant if you're trying to build a different team to get after the Dragon after I show you the build of my Tomb Lord real quick here. Okay, so here we are, and you can see, obviously, a lot of times with these solo strategies, the regen set is a great choice. Some people I've seen pull it off with like 6-piece Immortal or something, but the regen set is awesome with all of the HP you can recover every single turn, especially if you can get to a high speed. Now, the total stats, if you want to keep those in mind, we've got the HP of about 56k. the attack of 3600, the defense of 2600, speed of 230, the perfect 100% crit rate, a little bit of crit damage, and plenty of accuracy to make sure we are landing everything. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, you would have decently high resistance as well, somewhere up there around 300, but you kind of need every stat to make this thing work. You need a good amount of HP to keep that regen popping off. You need a decent amount of defense, like 2500 to 3k, to make sure you're not getting hit so hard that you can't regenerate it, and a decent amount of speed to really snowball and keep up those turns of regenerating stuff. And it's always nice to have the crit rate and crit damage as well, so you're hitting decent on top of the poisons, because in stage 25 you are hitting strong, so that would help you actually be able to hit for a decent amount. So it is a tough build to get going, but if you can hit some of these stat thresholds and get kind of close to that, it's kind of handy to have the solo 2 more strategy available in your arsenal. And also, I know a lot of times people are curious to see the mastery, so I'll pull that up and then move myself out of the way here, and we kind of go the normal route down the crit rate. Obviously, you want Whirlwind of Death to get that extra speed when you're running with some of those food champions. Also, the kill streak, and then the War Master just to help us get that constant influx of damage. The other important one you want to make sure you have is obviously going to be Spirit Haste to get more speed based on those dead food champions as well. But now let's pull up the Knight Revenant faction and talk about some of the different champions. They're going to be really good for the Dragon tournament. Now, I think most of you are going to have a decent grasp that the Knight Revenant is a pretty solid faction, actually. They've gotten a lot of love recently in the last year and a half that have really made them pop off. They've added things like Calvalax, Theodore, Drang, Gaius, Shemnath, Versolf. Ironically, one of the more underwhelming ones is the addition of a new Void Legendary in Fortis. Haven't quite got him up to speed in the current meta of Raid to make him a powerful Void Legendary, at least in his initial form. But there's just so many good champions in Knight Revenant. Soulless, you could probably design speed runs around Thea. I've been meaning to test her again and see about her nuking capabilities now that they've adjusted Hex and stuff. This deserves a deep dive in testing some of the things like Ruel and Thea around these fear nuking mechanics. But yeah, I mean, Bistafis, Narma could probably even be decent in the context of the Dragon. I could see that for sure with the attack down and the duration of debuffs, and the poison sensitivity could be an awesome champion for this. Calvalax is going to be great. Unfortunately, I don't have a Calvalax. I wish I did. He's awesome for all the poisons and different utility that he brings. He even has a speed aura in all battles with the 4 poisons on all enemies at the start of each round. Lots of fun with Calvalax. And then even the epics. You've got Rector. If you were trying to build like a slower team to try and support things on a more mid-game account, Rector would be an awesome support for the Dragon event. Golden Reaper can be a speed buffer. Whisper is actually super underrated in context of some of these bigger dungeons like the Dragon and the Hydra, stuff like that. Whisper can absolutely crank out an insane amount of damage. I meant to do a dedicated deep dive on Whisper as well. I think I did do that already on the channel. When you're 1,000 videos deep, you lose track of what you've done and what you haven't done. But anyway, the point is Whisper is definitely an awesome champion. Faceless can hit decently hard. Doom Priest is an awesome support for the Dragon with the heals and the cleansing. So yeah, it's not like there is a lack of good champions in the Knight Revenant. I haven't even mentioned things like Whirlwind and Mother Sibylle that can be decent as well. So don't feel bad about dropping it down to stage 20 and using what you have and building within your roster. And like I said, I would at least, if you can, get to the 1750 to scoop up those immortal soul coins, because we do want to be acquiring as much opportunity to get new blessings for our champions for the long-term health of managing our raid account. So good luck on farming the Dragon. I hope all of you at least get a couple good pieces of speed gear. The reason we need to farm so much speed gear is because we need those double, triple, quad rolls of speed that are really tough to get on our account. So that is why it is such a sought after tournament. And if you are going to be YOLOing a bunch of energy to get after at least that 1750, good luck. I hope you get a triple speed roll or something like that. But yeah, let me know down below your thoughts on this tournament, if you're going to be doing it or not, and any teams you're running and any champions that I missed or should have talked about more. I always appreciate the feedback down below. Also, remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content soon. I'll see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.